Hello everyone, my name's Amanda and welcome to the channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create this cute strawberry amigurumi keychain. I also have the written instructions for this pattern shared on my Instagram page, so if you want to check that out, you can follow me at Mocha Stitch. But we're going to kick off this tutorial by taking a look at materials required. For yarn today, I'm going to be using Lily Sugar and Cream 100% cotton yarn in both the colors red and dark pine. This is a worsted weight yarn, but you could use any size you'd like. You will also need some yellow yarn to sew the seeds onto the strawberry. This is Cascades Ultra Pima Fine Sport Weight yarn. It's a 100% cotton yarn as well, and the color is yellow rose. For hooks today, I'm going to be using Clover Amour's size C 2.75mm hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors, some polyester fiber fill to stuff the strawberry, a bent tip yarn needle to sew all the pieces of the strawberry together, safety eyes, these are 6mm, as well as the backings for each eye. This is optional, but you can also use a lighter. I have a tutorial for using these on the back of eyes. A keychain to attach to your strawberry, and if your keychain looks like this one, you'll need a way to attach it from the inside. This is a paper clip that I have bent to this shape, but I have a separate tutorial where I show you how I do that, so I'll link that above for you to check out. And this is optional as well, but this is craft adhesive. I use this to attach the leaves to the body of the strawberry. I personally don't like sewing very much, so this is a great alternative if you also don't like to sew pieces together. Now that we've looked at all the materials required, let's jump into the tutorial. Alright, so for round 1 of the body, we're going to take our red yarn and we're going to create a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I have a separate tutorial as well. If you don't know how to create a magic ring or you don't know how to use this method, I'm going to go relatively quick here. So if you need to see the super slow version, you can check out that tutorial. I'll link that above and in the description as well. And like I mentioned, we're just doing 6 single crochets. So here's our second single crochet, third single crochet, fourth single crochet, and I do mention in my other tutorial, but I have a double loop method of creating the magic circle, and I prefer this method because to me it's way sturdier having 2 loops going through the inside of these stitches. Alright, so now that we've created these stitches, you just want to count that we do have 6 stitches, which we do, and then you're going to pull on the tail. I'm pulling on the wrong one. This is the correct tail, so you pull that one tight and the loop will close up. And then once you're happy with the space, you want to keep a little bit of extra space so you can get the keychain attachment in there. You can just pull on that long tail and just make sure you can open it up a little bit. I think that looks good. And then we can close up the magic ring by slip stitching. There we go. We're going to slip stitch into the first stitch and connect the magic ring. Now, I always kind of struggle here with the first stitch. I've seen that you can also create a chain before you create your first single crochet. I have tried it. I'm not crazy about the look of starting off with a chain, but it's totally personal preference. So here we go, here's our magic ring with our 6 stitches. I'm just going to grab scissors now and trim off the tail. And you can see I leave about 1 centimeter there. That's because I don't want this tail to unravel or accidentally poke through the center of the magic ring, since we did leave a little bit of a hole. And again, the center of the magic ring is where our paperclip attachment is going to poke out, so we need to leave enough room to be able to poke that through and attach our keychain. Alright, so now we're going to be working into this stitch here. To start off round 2, we're just going to create an increase, or 2 single crochets, into the first stitch. And for round 2, we're just going to be increasing in every stitch around. So at the end of this round, we should have 12 stitches left. So here we go, this is our second increase. And for the first couple rounds of the pattern, we're just kind of building up the body. We're building up the width of the body of the strawberry. I'm just going to continue on, and I'll meet you guys at the beginning of round 3. Alright, so here we are ready to start round 3. Round 3 is going to consist of 1 single crochet and 1 increase. We're going to repeat that pattern 6 times around, and at the end of this round we should have 18 stitches. So here's our increase. We're just going to keep going around. 1 single crochet and then 1 increase. I'm going to continue on, and I'll meet you guys at the beginning of round 4. Alright, so here we are ready to start round 4. Round 4 is going to consist of 2 single crochets and then an increase. We're repeating that 6 times around, and at the end of this round, we're going to have 24 stitches. So here we go, that's 2 single crochets and then an increase. We're just going to keep repeating that pattern 5 more times around. And after we complete this round, we're going to attach our keychain. Alright, so here we are, I've just completed round 4. Now what we're going to do is flip our work over and move this little tail out of the way. Make sure that you can see the center of that magic ring. And we're going to grab the little paper clip that we've made, and this is where we're going to attach our keychain. We're going to take this paper clip piece and flip it over, and we're going to insert the little neck and loop part right through the middle, and on the other side you should see that loop stick out. And I have another tutorial where I show the full process of actually clamping on the keychain, but right now is where you would take your keychain and attach it to this little loop. I'm just going to do that quickly off camera, and I'll show you guys what it looks like after the keychain has been attached. Here we have the keychain attached to the metal loop that we've inserted through the inside of the body. As you can see, it's super secure with this method and it looks super professional. Now we're ready to continue on with the body. So for rounds 5 and 6, we're just going to be single crocheting in each stitch around. So there's 24 stitches currently. At the end of these 2 rounds, you should still have 24 stitches. So just single crochet in each stitch. I'm going to keep working around, and I'll meet you guys at the beginning of round 7. Alright, so here we've just completed rounds 5 and 6. Now for round 7, we're going to create 6 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. And we're going to repeat that pattern 3 times around. At the end of this round, you should have 21 stitches left. So here, just creating those single crochets. And after our 6 single crochets, we're going to create an invisible decrease here. So the invisible decrease is when you work under both front loops only and create a stitch to look just like another single crochet. Here is a look at those 6 single crochets and then the decrease. We're going to repeat this 2 more times around, and I'll meet you guys at the beginning of round 8. Alright, so here we have round 7 completed. Now for round 8, we're just going to be single crocheting in each stitch around. We should have 21 stitches still at the end of this round. And after round 8, we're going to stop and attach our safety eyes. So I'm just going to finish off the round, and then I'll show you guys where to place your safety eyes. Alright, so here we have round 8 complete. I've removed my hook and spun my work around. So for safety eyes, let's talk a little bit about placement. I place my eyes right between rounds 6 and 7 here, and I place them 5 stitches apart. It's up to you if you want your eyes to be further or higher up, lower down on the body, however you like. It's totally personal preference, but I place them between rounds 6 and 7. right here. And I'm actually going to switch and use my crochet hook to first create the hole for the eye. By doing this, it just kind of makes it easier for the safety eye to fit into the space. So as you can see, you just insert your hook and kind of wiggle it around and create a space for the safety eye to more easily push into. Make sure you push the eye all the way down. It should look like that from the inside. And then we're going to count 5 spaces over. And in the 5th space, we're going to create another hole for the eye. So we're going to insert our hook again and kind of wiggle it around, loosen up the stitches. And now we have our hole. We're going to grab our safety eye and insert it into the hole and push it all the way through, pushing the yarn around the eye. And after you feel like the eye is fully pushed through and very secure, you will grab the backing and place the backing from the inside down to hold the eye in place. I also have a separate tutorial where I show how I attach safety eyes using a lighter. I think it's way more secure. So if you want to see that tutorial as well, I'll leave a link to that above and below so you can check that out. But I'll just show you what it looks like after you've used the lighter on the eyes. So here the eyes are finished, and as you can see, looking from the inside, they're all melted down. So with that completed, we can insert our hook back into our working yarn and tighten up the yarn. And now for round 9, we're going to create 5 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. We're going to repeat that 3 times around total, and we will have 18 stitches at the end of this round. Here's our 4th single crochet and our 5th single crochet. And now we're going to create our invisible decrease. There we go. And before carrying on there, we'll just stop and take a look. This is the pattern. We have 5 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. Just repeat that 2 more times around. Alright, now so for round 10, we're going to create 4 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. We're going to repeat that 3 times around total, and at the end of this round we should have 15 stitches left. So here's our single crochets and now our invisible decrease. There we go, decrease. And a quick look at what that looks like. 4 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. So just repeat that 2 more times and I'll meet you at round 11. Alright, now onto round 11. The pattern is going to be 3 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. Here's our 3rd single crochet and then the decrease, and we are repeating that pattern 3 times for this round, and at the end of the round we should have 12 stitches left. So here's the decrease. Just a quick look at what that looks like. 3 single crochets and then a decrease. Keep repeating around and then I'll show you the final round. For this final round, we're just going to be creating 6 invisible decreases, but I'm only going to create 3, and then I like to stop there and stuff the body. And then once I've fully stuffed the body, I finish off those final 3 decreases. So I'm just going to do these decreases real quick and give you a couple tips on stuffing the strawberry. There we go, 1 more decrease. And these final decreases can get a little bit tricky, but I just kind of pinch the strawberry flat and I find it's a little bit easier, and I just kind of mush the shape around as I'm working. So there, I've just done the 3 decreases. And then if you flattened your strawberry like I did, you just kind of have to puff it up into shape again. And now what we're going to do is stuff the body with our polyester fiber fill. So if you just want to grab a handful of fiber fill and just rip off smaller pieces. And then I like to use the back of a crochet hook. If you use an ergonomic hook like this one, it's quite easy. The kind of rubbery handle pushes the stuffing into the body quite well. And you're just gonna keep stuffing it until you have shaped up your strawberry to a shape you like. And after that, we'll finish off with those final decreases. Alright, so now my strawberry is firmly stuffed. I'm just going to insert my hook back into the loop and finish off with these final decreases here. Alright, so these decreases should be a little bit easier now that the body is stuffed. You don't need to pinch it flat. But still, as we're kind of minimizing the amount of stitches left in the round, at this point there should only be 9 stitches left. The decreases do get harder and harder to create. I'm just going to keep working 3 more. Here we go. And once we're finished off these decreases, we're going to be sewing the strawberry closed. So here's our final decrease. There we go. I'm just going to finish that off. And now, once you're done, just pull up a little loop and grab your pair of scissors, because now we're going to cut a little yarn tail to sew the strawberry closed. And now what we're going to do is just pull the yarn through that loop, pull it all the way through like this. And you're going to grab your yarn needle and we're going to insert under the loops and go all the way around to close it up. So as you can see here, we're just going under the front loop of the stitch here. Just like that, just under that front loop, and then attach your yarn. And it's important to note we're going from the outside working towards the inside here. Pull the yarn underneath that loop, and we're just going to go through all 6 stitches, going from the outside towards the inside, pulling through and tightening after we work through each stitch. I'm going to carry on and I'll show you guys how to close up the body after going through these 6 loops. Alright, so here I've just gone through all 6 loops. And now, after making sure that's nice and tight, what we're going to do is insert our hook right through the center of those 6 loops. Just like this, right through the center. And then we're pushing our needle, I like to bring it out at the back of the strawberry, like this. The eyes are in front. And then if your yarn fell off like mine, just reattach it and just slide your needle through. And pull it out the other side and just kind of give it a little bit of a tug. There's some fiber fill that came out, but we'll deal with that after. So we'll just shape the strawberry a bit, tug it a little more if you want the bottom to look a little flatter. Here we go, and then just kind of pinch with your fingers, shape the strawberry how you like it. Here we go, I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. There we go, that's what that looks like all closed up. Now this yarn tail, there's the fiber fill, so just pinch any fiber fill that kind of came out with your yarn and remove that. And then after it's all cleaned up, we're going to take our needle and insert it 1 stitch below. So you can see the yarn tail comes out here. We're gonna go 1 stitch below and just bring it out towards the bottom of the body, attach our yarn again to the eye of the needle, and send that through the body 1 more time. This is just to make it very secure so the bottom of the strawberry doesn't pop open. Now you don't want to tug too hard on this part here. You want to tug firmly enough, but you don't want to dimple the back of the strawberry. So as you can see, it's pretty seamless. It's hard to see where it is. If there's any fiber fill that came out the bottom, just pinch and pull that away as well. And then just tug slightly farther than you would and snip that off with scissors. And then get rid of the tail. And the reason you pull just a little bit further is that it will create a bit of a dimple at the top here. And then to hide this tail, since we pulled too far, we're just going to pinch the sides of the strawberry. And you can see that tail just kind of gets sucked into the inside of the strawberry. And it should remove that dimple at the top. Just squeeze it a bit so that kind of dimple goes away. Kind of shape with your fingers. take a look all around the strawberry, just kind of mush the fiberfill around so it is a shape that you like. And I think we're good to go. Now we're going to take a look at how we attach the seeds to the strawberry. Alright, so with our yellow yarn or thread and our yarn needle, we're going to grab our strawberry. And you can do this however you like as a starting point. I don't really care too much about where I start, but I'm just going to insert the needle somewhere on the body. And we're just going to pick the first spot where we want the yarn needle to come out and create the first seed. We also want to pull our working yarn quite a ways through. I probably have way too much just to be safe. But I would suggest at least a foot of yarn. And we're just going to go in and out spaces. If we come out this spot up here, we're either going to insert our needle back in one row above or below. Just like this, we can go above or below. I think it looks better going up, so we're going into this space here and coming out somewhere else on the body. And you just want to alternate. Since the last seed was a little bit higher, I'm moving over to the left and going kind of in the middle of the strawberry now. So one round above, we're going to come out a little bit lower now and a little bit farther over on the strawberry. And you can experiment with your seeds, whether you like your strawberry to be densely covered with seeds or if you only want a few just as a little bit of accent. I probably put about 10 to 15 seeds on my strawberries, but I totally find at the end of the day it just comes down to looking at the project in your hands and looking for empty spaces that you look at and you say, no, it needs another seed here or there. So just kind of work your way all the way around the strawberry, I find is the easiest way. And then after that, you can just analyze it and see if you feel like there's a couple empty spaces where you could add one. There you go. So as you can see, I'm just kind of working my way around. I think when we insert our needle this time, there's a big empty space here. So I'm just kind of analyzing where we want this next one to come out. But this process is totally subjective, so just keep going with your seeds. And at the end, we want to bring both strands of the working yarn out at the top of the strawberry, and I'll just tell you about how to finish off the seeds once you are done. Alright, so here I've brought both strands of the working yarn to the top. I just like to bring them out in 2 different stitches, tie a knot, and then take those tails and weave them into the body of the strawberry. Alright, and here is a look at the finished strawberry with the seeds. Here's a look from all around the body. And now that we have finished off that, I will show you guys how to create the leaves for the top. Alright, now it's time to make the leaves. We're going to be creating 5 leaves in total. So with our dark green yarn, we're going to start with a slip knot. There we go, tighten that up. And insert your hook. Tighten your yarn. And for this pattern, we're going to create 4 chains. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now working into the second chain from your hook, we're going to create a half double crochet. So inserting our hook into that second stitch, create a half double crochet. There we go. And in the next stitch here, we're also going to create a half double crochet. There we go. And in the final stitch here, we're going to create a single crochet in this final stitch. So insert our hook and create 1 single crochet. Alright, and here's a look at what those 3 stitches completed look like. Continuing on, Now we're creating the point of the leaf. We're going to chain 2. Now this is the slightly tricky part. What we're going to be doing is actually working into the back bump of that first chain that we just made. So this is the front of the stitch, that is the back bump. We're going to be working into that bump right there. And we're going to be doing a slip stitch into this back bump. So insert your hook and yarn over and pull through, and then pull through that loop. Create a slip stitch. And it doesn't look like a whole lot now, but that is the pointy part of our leaf. So now we're going to be rotating our work 180 degrees here, and we're going to be working into the underside of those stitches that we made originally. So we're going to single crochet into the bottom of the next stitch, which is the underside of the single crochet we made. And make sure that you're working over this yarn tail to kind of hide it. So as you can see here, when I'm creating the next stitch, I'm pinching both the stitch and that yarn tail together. So we're going to create now a half double crochet into the bottom of the other 2 half double crochets. So working into that stitch and over that yarn tail, we're going to create the first half double crochet. And then in the last stitch here, we're going to create our final half double crochet. Here we go. There we go, and just pull up a little loop. And we're just going to take a look. So this is our leaf shape. It's almost complete. If you look at the underside here, you might notice this little bump that was the original knot from the slip knot. So if you grab the short tail and kind of tug on it, you can try to hide the bump a little bit inside the stitches. There we go. Make sure it is the yarn tail you're pulling, not the working yarn. You don't want to unravel the leaf. But just to recap, we should have 2 half double crochets, a single crochet, 2 chains and a slip stitch, a single crochet, and 2 more half double crochets. So 9 stitches total for that leaf. Now we can cut off this yarn tail after you're happy with tugging on it and hiding that knot. So just grab some scissors and trim it as close to the base of the leaf as possible. It's optional, you can leave that yarn tail if you want to try to use it to sew it to the body of your strawberry as well, but I choose to glue my leaves on or use the remaining yarn tail to sew it on. So now with the yarn tail, you want to keep enough if you're sewing it that you can use the yarn tail to sew the leaf. I am gluing mine, so I'm not going to make my tail too long. But if you were sewing your leaf, definitely leave a little bit more of a yarn tail than I did. But you're just going to want to pull the yarn through that loop that we made, and to kind of pinch the leaf into more of a leaf shape, what I like to do is grab a yarn needle and insert my needle into this space right here, which is originally when you chain 4 to start the leaf. This is the first chain that you skip. So we're going to insert our needle into that space and attach our yarn. Here we go. And then just pull through that stitch. And as you can see, it kind of pinches the leaf into a round shape. And it looks much more like a leaf at this point. And now we're just going to go ahead and create 4 more leaves to join this one. And then I'll show you guys how to attach the leaf to the body of the strawberry. Alright, so we're just going to take a look at a finished strawberry here so you can see what it looks like when all the leaves are attached. I like to glue my leaves on, but you can totally sew them as well. And as you can see, there's a slight hole in the center here so the keychain can still freely move around without rubbing on the yarn. There we go, and as you can see, I attach my leaves with one in the center right between the eyes, and then from there I kind of go around to the back of the strawberry. Here is a blank strawberry for comparison. So when you are attaching your leaf, if you glue your leaf, right now you could attach a little bit of craft adhesive or glue right there. And when you go to place a strawberry, place it right between the center of the eyes. And if you are gluing it, or if you're sewing them as well, it really helps to have some pins. This is totally optional, but I think it just kind of helps the overall look. So I would pin it in place. Again, if you have glue, I would just do a couple pins all the way around to kind of hold it down. If you're sewing, I'd probably put 2 pins just to keep it in the right spot as you sew around. And the tail here, you want to just weave that into the body because you want the leaf to still have this cinched effect at the back of the leaf. And this is why you don't cut it. You want to sew the yarn tail into the body. If you cut it, it would lose this effect. And also, if you find that the pinch is not good enough, just bring the yarn through one more time to really secure it in that shape. But if you choose to go with the sewing method rather than the gluing method, the difference would be that you take your yarn tail and attach it to a needle and sew all the way around. And I do recommend going underneath each stitch and working all the way around if you're going to sew it, just to make sure it's super secure. I do highly recommend the gluing method though, because craft adhesive is so secure. I have no issues with my finished strawberry. This one is glued and it's super durable too. The glue dries really solid. And also, as you can see, the little points of the leaf, I don't glue down. I let them flap up a little bit. And I just like the look. I think it gives a bit of a wispy appearance. I don't really like the pressed down leaf look, but it's totally personal preference. So sew or glue them however you like. Just to give you guys a little perspective, if you choose to glue the leaves down on the strawberry, this is what you can expect to see. I use 4 pins per leaf, and when you attach each leaf, I would leave them with the pins on for probably 24 hours. It should take, I would say minimum 12 hours, but the craft adhesive does take a while, and after that you can remove the pins. Alright, and here we have our finished keychain. As you can see, this is the back, the front. We've got our keychain attached, all our leaves on there, and the finished body of the strawberry. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.